Welcome to a special edition of Sledhead 24/7. This is the SnowShoot 2023, where we go out and ride all the new models for next season. We have the best snowmobiles with the best riders, and as always, the best FXR gear. So there's only one thing left to do. We need to go ride, rate, and review. Hey, Jeff Fisher here. Today we're going to have a segment on our muscle sleds. Now I'm going to date myself a little bit, but back in the late 90s, early 2000s, all the manufacturers had great muscle sleds. The Storms, the SRXs, the Thundercats, the Mach-Zs, a lot of fast sleds. We're going to go take these, put them to the test, and let you know what's best. Right here I have Polaris's Patriot Boost VR1. Now this is the Matrix chassis. Now everybody who's had a chance to drive this Matrix chassis knows these things are a blast to ride. You can move around, they're so agile, the ergos are perfect. The only way you know this is boosted is when you flip this throttle. This thing pulls like no other. Being a two-stroke turbo, it just keeps building. It shifts out at the 82, 8300 mark, but it'll just keep on pulling. Kind of like the triples of old, the old muscle sleds. Pulled and they rock. But the one thing with this two-stroke, you can ride it all day, you can ditch bang, go line up with your buddies on the lake. This thing's gonna do everything.
Really excited about the Patriot Boost for trail. It's been really fun, you know, as we've been getting our athletes, LaValle's been on it, our athletes and ambassadors have been riding on it as we've been getting ready for launch, and it's just so fun to see the reactions. You know, just getting the boost on trail, just the amount of speed that we have and bringing that to trail and just seeing the reactions has been a lot of fun. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see customers out on that on the trail.
Here I have Skidoo's Renegade XRS 900 Ace Turbo R. The R means it's got a little extra power. Now we've had turbos in the past in the 130 mark. They've actually cranked this one up to the 180 of arm stretching power. This is so smooth, and probably one of my most favorite things about this sled is the wastegate and the blow off. You're on it and the thing just poof. And it's a turbo guy loves it. He'd love to hear the sound, but it pulls so smooth. The Renegade chassis, the little longer chassis, just the ride is nice. And what really helps this machine out is the smart shocks. You have your soft, sport, and sport plus. When I find myself in sport mode, rocking the trails, you get some stutter bumps, you get a little jiggle. Flip that to the soft mode, smoothens right out. They have done such a great, fantastic job on these shocks. It just enhances this whole machine. So as a muscle sled, arm pulling power, rides nice on the trail, kind of the whole package here. Now in the muscle sled category for Arctic Cat, there's only one choice, the Thundercat 9000. Now this has a Yamaha power plant, you know, industry leading 200 horsepower on a chassis that handles really, really well. It's got the Fox Attack shocks, heated seat, and power steering. Now when I first got on this machine, you just couldn't believe how easy and effortless it steered. You just had to go back and forth with the handlebars because with this power steering, it does not feel heavy on the front. But yet the skis are planted, they stick in the corners. Somebody who wants everything imaginable on a snowmobile right from the factory, all the creature features, the Arctic Cat Thundercat, that's a sled for you. I can't believe how close all these machines are. Now Skidoo's with their launch, they came out really hard and he could really jump us on the Skidoo, would always want to jump the other sleds. The other sleds would pull and hold through the mid-range. The one thing shined a little bit on the top end was our two-stroke Polaris turbo. It did what we thought, like the old triples of old. It kept going and going. It had some really long legs. It was a tough one to catch. If you weren't ahead of it in the beginning or in the mid, you didn't catch him, he would leave you. But the Polaris shined on the top end. The rest of these all pulled great through the mid. I would almost could say you could have thrown a blanket over us. Whoever got the better jump got hooked up out of the hole. You know, we're running some snow, like most of us are gonna do when we're lining up with their buddies. But all in all, I'm impressed. All three of these machines, the fun factor's there. They're all fast.
Still ahead, we evaluate the entry-level sleds. But first, we hear from Rock Speed Effects.
Welcome to Rock Speed Effects. My name is Chris and we're here today to talk about a few products and an amazing opportunity that we were able to be a part of. Back in August of 21, we got a phone call from Will Ewing from the Shock Shop, going to raise funds for kids to go to camp, setting a world record for a 24-hour period on a snowmobile for the most miles. One of the things he requested was our all-season gauntlet. This was to kind of keep Will's hands dry and clean and warm, because over the 24 hours period, he's gonna have to ride all night long through the night to the next morning. So this is able to work on motorcycles, ATVs, and snowmobiles. The other thing that he requested was our anti-vibe risers. These come in a variety of options that you can go to our website and check out. This one is a 7/8 version for 7/8 handlebars. It has cushions in the riser to kind of cut down the bar buzz or the resonance that comes off the motor in the track, or tires from a motorcycle. And this was something he specifically requested for the attempt. The other thing that we have here on display is our Gen 3 Flex Deck handguards. These are also available. This is something that we had sent him, but due to the fact that it was going to be a pretty cold night, he kind of decided to run our all-season gauntlet. But these are just a few of the things that we have here at Rock Speed Effects. So thanks for joining us here at Rock Speed Effects. Let's cut over to Will.
Behind me is Thunder 1. It's a 2022 Arctic Cat Thundercat that was used Guinness World Record attempt, and we managed to put 2,125 miles on that sled in 24 hours. Well, I had two goals. The previous record by a single rider was 1,907 miles in 24 hours. And there was a team event out there that was 2,084 miles, so that was kind of my hidden goal. And we did reach both of those in the 24-hour period with one sled and one rider. We set up a 10.52 mile oval out on Lake of the Woods that was professionally surveyed for Guinness purposes. The idea actually started over 20 years ago when my late cousin Darcy Ewing wanted to attempt this world record and lost his life prior to doing that. So I had the idea of always doing it. And about 1 year ago, we decided that year was the year. So we started making phone calls to potential sponsors, and that's when I reached out to Chris at Rock Speed FX, realized they make some hand guards that were quite nice and comfortable and kept the wind off my knuckles, and also makes anti-vibration handlebar mounts, which got rid of all the engine vibrations coming up through the handlebars. So I wanted something you could slip your hand in quick, so if you had to pull your hand out to change a setting on the snowmobile or do something, you could get it back on the handlebar quick, because those products made a huge difference on making this world record possible. I've had a few people that basically said, oh yeah, we had a pretty good year, we put 1,500 miles on, and then they read the little plaque that's sitting by my sled and they're like, you did that in a day. Yes, we did. Yeah, we basically took this whole project on, did it as a fundraiser, and every dollar donated or raised, I should say 100% of every donation raised went to sending kids to summer Bible camps that come from families that are less fortunate and can't afford to send kids off to a week of camp. So 100% of every dollar went to that cause.
Sledhead 24/7 on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by the U.S. Air Force. Full-time, part-time, in or out of uniform. Join us. By Amsoil. Runs on Freedom. By Polaris. And by Stud Boy. Traction with an attitude.
Entry-level snowmobiles. We have all four manufacturers here with a different form of an entry-level snowmobile. What we want to do is see getting new people into the sport, getting equipment that they can have a great experience, not go out and have a lot of trouble, breakdowns. Nothing like having a bad day. We don't want that. There's a lot of choices to get new equipment with warranty that they're just going to go out, ride, confident build, and have a great time. Ski-Doo introduced us their new MXZ Neo, and this is the Neo Plus. They have two versions, a Neo and a Neo Plus. Performance, of course, the Plus has a little more performance. You know, when I first got on it, it feels a little shorter because the seat height is cut down and down a little lower than the regular MXZs. And you get on it and it feels a little smaller, but it feels so light. But still has all the features that the bigger sleds have.
So for 2023, we're introducing the Neo series. This is an entry-level machine. It's got two different levels, a 40 horsepower and a 55 horsepower level. And the idea is to make something that's very inviting for people to come on into the sport. We've gone through everything we can to make it feel very, very friendly for that user and provide them with a great experience. It's great for transitioning from little sleds to bigger sleds if it's a step in between, or small frame riders that have never really been on a snowmobile before. So let's make it easy for people to come and join us.
Now, Polaris introduced to us the S4 Indy XC on the Matrix platform. So we know the Matrix platform already rides and handles great. They have new shocks, 5-position compression up front. It's going to make the sled ride and handle so confident. Also have 3 modes for riding, the Eco up to Sport, so you can set it for different performance grades. The fly-by-wire throttle, effortless. This sled is just very confident building, very easy to ride, and very easy to own. This is for someone who wants to have all the bells and whistles and just make it easy.
Bringing the 4-stroke back, these are awesome. And to be honest, this is one of my favorite sleds. It's super, just gives it a lot of confidence on the trails, really easy to ride, and it's going to be great for our customers. It's going to be really easy to own, easy to ride, and really just great to get new people into the sport, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Still ahead, we hit the rough trail and evaluate what might be the best sleds for the rough trail conditions.
For 2023, Arctic Cat ZR RXC, the race cross country. This is the same sled that you're seeing the Arctic Cat cross country racers win races with. It's really kind of cool. For the first time, they're allowing the general public to buy this snowmobile. I'm sure it's going to be, Snowmageddon only, so make sure once that program starts to get on the list. Because if you're looking for a sled that you can go out and run like the cross-country stars, this is it. New for 2023, the Ski-Doo Renegade XRS. Now they're bringing us the Gen 5, which is a all-new plastic and platform. There was always 2 complaints I heard about the Ski-Doo. 1, headlights. 2 is the gauges. Guess what? Check and check. High-powered LED headlights and a new 10.25 digital display that has your GPS, and there's just tons of different features. The whole time I've been playing with it and doing different things with it, I keep finding new programs and different apps that you can put in here. Now they still have the Smart Shock or the non-Smart Shock for the suspension. So they have the proven RAS front end and the proven R-Motion rear. This thing is such a nice package. Ski-Doo did it. For 2023, Polaris' XCR 850. Of course, this is our rough sled pick for Polaris. There isn't a lot of changes from last year because it's a proven sled with the Walker Evans Velocity shocks, the 136-252 Camso track, the Hayes brakes. This thing is a mogul masher. If you want to go out, run the trails nice, smooth, have like a slot car type feel on the trails, this is your sled. You want to hit a bump? This is your sled. You want to jump a building? This is your sled. Trust me, with the 7S display, the ergos on this machine are awesome. The controls are easy to use up on the handlebar. The XCR comes with the tether, which is nice to hook onto for safety. All in all, this snowmobile does it all. 2023, the Yamaha Sidewinder LTX LE. Now, this was our only rough trail sled that was a 4-stroke, a turbo, has power steering and a heated seat, so I could be comfortable hitting the bumps. And these Fox QS3 shocks, the valving in these, even the extra weight of the 4-stroke and the turbo, honestly, you could drive through the bumps at speed. The power steering made it real easy to even turn on top of the bumps. One thing I'd really like to do is put a real aggressive set of skis and carbides on this sled, because this power steering won't let my shoulders get tight.
Still ahead, Jeff Fisher evaluates the mountain category. But first, we'll meet our 2022 Dennis Kirk sled build winners.
My name is Tim, and this is a 2022 sled build winner. This here is a 96 Arctic Cat ZRT 600 triple, and the reason for this build was to mimic the 70s models vintage sleds, but yet still keep a modern looking sled for the trails that we can ride on today. But there was a lot of fabricating on the dash just to make everything fit. I think the most satisfying about this build is the finished product.
Hi, my name is Ken, and this is my 2022 sled build. It's a 2004 Arctic Cat Firecat F7 Fighter Pilot Edition. It was created as an homage to the World War II fighter pilots at the time, and that's where you see it's basically loosely based off a P-51 Mustang. What motivated me to start the project was, like I said, I kind of had fell into buying the sled, and then after I owned it and the comments I was seeing on Facebook and riding it, then I come to find out, how special of a sled it was. And then I kind of became a steward to it. A lot of these were ripped apart for drag racing, were destroyed, and I kind of wanted to keep it, keep the history with it, and keep it around for another 20 years.
Sledhead 24/7 on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by the U.S. Air Force. Full-time, part-time, in or out of uniform, join us. By Amsoil. Runs on Freedom. By FXR. Premium outdoor gear that's worthy of who you are and what you love to do. And by Ziegler Cat. Exceptional service backing the best equipment.
For 2023, Arctic Cat's Mountain Cat 8000. This machine here is set up with all the creature features you can imagine that could ever be on a mountain sled. It's got your 800 power plant. It's got the new Adapt clutch, which we've talked about. You never have to set your belt deflection. It stays tight all the time, which does two things: better throttle response and better belt life. This whole package really works well. It isn't a ton of changes from last year, but everything is so refined and works real well. Great job, Arctic Cat. Polaris Patriot 9R. 9R, you say? That's a 900cc motor. Now, this isn't their boosted sled. We saw that, they introduced that last year with the Patriot Boost. This is another form of a mountain sled from Polaris. And what I found riding this snowmobile, you got less fatigued and less tired hanging on to the power of the Patriot Boost. It has a lot quicker response. And in the trees, I think to have a machine that you can go in the trees and just instant response and just up the hills and down and wherever you need to go. If you want the machine to go through deep powder and climb some big chutes, then you have to have the Patriot Boost. But the guys who want to ride tight, technical, you want to look at the 900R Patriot.
So last year we introduced the Patriot Boost in the mountain, and I think a lot of people thought we were just going to be coming out with some new graphics and new bold colors. So it's really fun this year that we're bringing the Patriot 9R, so bringing a 900 to the mountains. There's different reasons why a person would want a Boost versus a 9R, and I think it's getting the power from the 900 is it's the power you're getting from it is just unmatchable, which is really, really exciting.
New for 2023, Skidoo has given us the Summit X with the Expert package. This chassis has the 850 E-Tech Turbo R, which now they've upped that turbo to 180 horsepower. It has power. Anybody who had a chance to ride last year's how smooth, crisp, and clean they ran? This one does that and has a little more horsepower.
All new for 23, we have the Rev Gen 5. This machine, if you look at this deep snow version of it, it is an absolute weapon. It's narrower, it's smaller, it's compact. This is exactly what the deep snow guys were looking for in a chassis design. Everything's out of the way, you can see around it clearly. You've got a nice new dash setup here where we've actually got the optional 10.25 gauge in it right now. You've got new rear suspension, completely redesigned rear suspension. We've got a new chain case module in it. I mean, this thing has been rethought from ski tip to the snow flap. Literally redone, all with the focus of making it the best deep snow sled out there, period.
For 2023, the Yamaha Mountain Max. This is an 800 power plant. You can go 154 or 165 track. The paddles on that track are awesome. This thing will hook and climbs. You know what's cool? I love the monorail skid. It's real easy and predictable for cornering, and it's real effortless to side hill. You can side hill. It holds a side hill really nice on this chassis with the narrow belly pans and narrow running board. It makes a good all-around mountain sled. It climbs, side hills, deep powder. It does it all. Hi! Hi, brother!
You coming to have a picnic?
Hold on. Ta-da!